Have you ever paid attention to certain corners? A corner of a room, often overlooked, used to store things or to hide. A corner on the street, where vendors set up, people pause, talk, or wait. Then, maybe a bit larger, corners of a city, gray zones, leftover spaces not covered by urban management. Corners of a nation, remote borders, places outside policy focus, and even corners of the world, regions ignored by dominant global narratives, left behind by the pace of development. There are corners in society too, groups pushed to the edges of information, power, or attention, languages, beliefs, or forms of expression labeled secondary, exceptions, or simply noise. Some corners are even harder to see. They exist in institutional gaps, in unrecorded data, in places unmapped and unnamed. They live in memory, forgotten histories, silenced experiences. Corners are everywhere. They can be spatial, social, cultural, or perceptual. They can be the blind spots created by habit. And let's not forget, Earth itself has never been the center. We too live in the corner of the universe. I didn't start with any special interest in corners. To be honest, it wasn't until this month that I began using corner as a key concept in my work. Before that, it wasn't a term I focused on. I hadn't realized how much meaning it could carry. It began during a recent stage of my design research when I looked at spaces that don't fit the typical idea of public. Places like convenience stores, fast food restaurants, or train station edges, spaces with no official name or institutional support. Yet people use them for resting, waiting, interacting. I called them gray spaces. Later, I started using corner as a metaphor for these spaces. It felt more specific and more expansive. Looking back, I realized corner had been quietly present in earlier work. 2 years ago, I explored disappearing photo booths in my hometown. Marginalized by digitalization, they still carried memory, identity, and visual production. Through design, I proposed new ways for them to exist. 1 year ago, in my research proposal, I discussed slow oases in the context of Hartmut Rosa's theory of social acceleration, spaces that diverge from the dominant pace. In hindsight, those were corners in a temporal and social sense. In an earlier project, I studied lives that fall outside the standard timeline, people who move through life at a different rhythm. They could also be described as structural corner dwellers. Now, I continue to ask, what does it mean for a designer to engage with corners? Frascara argues that the quality of design should be judged by how it communicates in context, not just by form or style. This made me realize just visualizing corners is not enough. That simply reproduces a condition without addressing it. Murphy's Design for Anthropology model frames design as a method, not just an outcome, one that engages with systems and proposes structural alternatives. This shaped my current approach. Rather than defining what a corner means, I aim to explore how design can create mechanisms of shared use, participation, and negotiation around them. Moving forward, I want to continue exploring corner in extended contexts, not just physical corners, but also linguistic ones, emotional ones, and corners within digital interfaces. Design might take the form of small policy proposals, restructured information systems, or even altered ways of seeing. Corners don't need to be explained. They need to be taken seriously and responded to.